In typical African societies, women's role include being daughter, wife, mother, teacher, organizer, and caregiver. In fact, there are additional roles for the woman depending on ethnic, religious, and cultural affinities, with insignificant involvement in leadership roles and impacts to some extent trivial. Over the past few decades, and particularly in this climb, women are constantly evolving and achieving new milestones based on commitments and expertise across a wide spectrum of human activities. This is to say, a good number of Nigerian women are making a headway in leadership positions, unlike before, when women were not encouraged to take up leadership roles as often as the male counterpart. With all emphasis, women in Nigeria are gradually making their presence felt in regional, national and global scenes. In the light of the celebration of International Women's Day, it is only fair to acknowledge the remarkable contribution of Nigerian women in peace building, business, economy, politics and governance. Welcome to Weekend File. For tonight, the President of the National Council of Women's Societies, Laraba Shoda, will be my guest. I'm Joseph Johnson. Let's bring the news to you first. President Muhammadu Buhari has warned terrorists and bandits targeting schools, saying the country will not allow the destruction of the school system. President Buhari, however, commended efforts of the Kaduna State government and early response of the military, which led to the rescue of 180 students, including 8 staff members, but urged that the others declared missing be found and returned safely to their families. The president also commended efforts and contributions of local intelligence in significantly thwarting the kidnappers, saying that a country which has an efficient local intelligence network is a safer country. President Buhari expressed sympathy with the victims of this incident and hoped for an early end to the ordeal of those still held captive. And 180 students of Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka, Kaduna, rescued during the abduction have been released to go home. Abdullahi Mohammed reports that they were reunited with their loved ones following counseling and medication for the wounded.
In buses and trucks, they came with heavy security cover into their school for the first time after a traumatic experience they were taken. Moments after, they began to come out in droves with loved ones opening their arms for them. The means of transport home here doesn't count, but what takes them home? When the microphone reaches some of them, their stories heartbreaking.
The kidnapper now asked him to take them to the female hostel. On reaching there, he now said, "This is the female hostel." He now pointed to them, "This is the female hostel." Then he now hit the kidnapper and tried to run. Then now started shooting at him. So that was where he escaped also.
And the bandits were fully prepared for the operation. If not for the intervention of the security agency, I think it was not possible that they would have carried all the whole students.
They didn't go home without proper medical checks and counseling.
We also look at their food needs, their hygiene condition and things like that, and where we need to bring in medical personnel to be able to address some of their issues, we also do that.
And giving them hope is the air and ground patrol in search of their colleagues yet to be rescued from the den of the bandits. In Kaduna, Abdullahi Muhammad, NTA News.
When a family is hit with the sad story of abduction of their member, holding tears is difficult. So was the circumstance Abdullahi Mohammed met at Ede's family, looking forward to the rescue of their son, Benson Ede, who is among the 39 students abducted at the Federal College of Forestry, Afaka, Kaduna.
The cockcrow grazed our arrival at the home of the Edes, but the atmosphere was moody. All is not well with the family, as the last born of the house, Benson Ede, is being held with 38 other students of the College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka, Kaduna. The head of the family calls for unity in ending the menace of banditry.
We need to work as a team, whether north, south, east, and west. Nigeria we don't have any other country, except we want to describe something else. So please, it is very, very important that our government should be realistic and holistic in their approach.
I'm praying seriously that they should rescue these children this weekend. They should do something about it.
Emotional, the mother of the house was, but strong in prayers, and this is what those doing the needful need to succeed.
The federal government is collaborating with states to ensure that adequate security is provided to these schools so that we don't have this kind of instances.
In Kaduna, Abdullahi Muhammad, NTA News.
All right, let's speak with the Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Kaduna State, Samuel Arwan. Mr. Samuel, thank you for joining us on Weekend File.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, so 180 rescued students are now reunited with their families. What kind of support was given to them?
Well, first and foremost, many of them had injuries that they sustained in the course of the commotion that occurred while troops were engaging the armed bandits within the premises of the school. We've been able to collaborate with the military in ensuring that they were treated of all injuries that many of them sustained. Beyond that, again, they went through trauma as a result of what transpired in the school. So these are some of the services that were rendered to them before they reunited with their families today, after they were brought to the institution where they pack their belongings and other procedure with the management of the school.
Okay, so what is the situation with students that are yet to be rescued, those ones yet to be rescued?
Well, we wouldn't want to go into operational details, but what is important, what we will want you to know is the fact that the military and Kaduna State government and other critical stakeholders in this matter are working assiduously, and we are optimistic that by the special grace of God, God will answer our prayers, and at the end of the day, the students will be back home.
Yes, talking about that, but what exactly, security measures have been taken in the school and others like it in the state to avoid similar incident?
Well, what I will want you to know, adequate security measures were taken in schools that we considered vulnerable and fragile. And if you look at what happened in the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, but for the prompt response of troops to the institution, I'm telling you from what you've heard from one of the students that was rescued, they would have kidnapped more than that number. So, but you can see prompt response of troops. And I also want you to understand that there are security issues. When you discuss them in details, you are likely to undermine what you have in the offing. But I want to assure Nigerians, particularly those that are following event here in Kaduna, that we are not resting, we are on our feet, and we've taken adequate measures as far as this issue is concerned. But like I said, I regret I cannot be able to give you operational detail as to what we have done. It will compromise what we are doing. We must appreciate the troops for a prompt response, which saved the day. If not, we will have been talking about a different number. And like I said earlier on, Kaduna State government extends solidarity to the military, to the police, to the DSS, and other security agencies and critical stakeholders as well who are involved in this matter. We have a focus. Our focus now is how do we get these students back home. We are also using this opportunity to build confidence, especially with their parents, that we share their pains, we are with them, and we are doing all that is within our reach to ensure that these students are back home.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Samuel Arwan. Of course, we here in NTA will be keeping tabs on developments as we get them. Thank you, Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Mr. Samuel Arwan.
You're welcome.
All right, let's still stay with security. Chief of Defense Staff General Lucky Rabo says troops of the Nigerian military will continue with their onslaught to clear all enclaves of Boko Haram terrorists, including the Timbers, to restore civil authority. General Irabo stated this when he led the service chiefs on a routine operational visit to Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. Maimuna Garba reports.
This is the second operational visit by the Chief of Defense Staff alongside service chiefs to Borno, less than 2 months after their first visit upon assumption of office. The operational visit led by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Loke Rabo, was part of efforts to ensure troops and commanders on the front line are continuing with their onslaught aimed at ensuring total annihilation of remnants of Boko Haram terrorists, especially those hibernating around the Timbus and Timbuktu triangle.
It's a routine visit meant to ginger our troops, meant to motivate them to also get to know what their challenges are and then to solve problems right in the field.
General Erabo commended troops' resilience and the successes recorded so far, urging them to continue with the doggedness as the president has been following happenings across the theater.
Well done! Thank you, sir! Well done!
Thank you, sir! The CDS and the service chiefs later held a high-level meeting where the theater commander and other unit commanders briefed them on the counter-insurgency operations.
We are encouraged, sir, by this visit to even redouble our effort towards achieving our mandate.
They also visited wounded soldiers receiving treatment at 7th Division Hospital, Maimalari Cantonment, assuring them of adequate medical care. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Report just reaching us says the national leader of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC, Senator Bola Tinubu, has called for unity and decisiveness to tackle the unabated farmer headers crashes in the country. Tinubu, in a statement on Saturday by his media aide Tunde Rahman, said that the headers farmers dispute had taken an acute and violent dimensions and had caused too many innocent lives while destroying the property and livelihoods of many others. According to him, as vital as security is to the resolution of this matter, the nation must realize security measures alone will not suffice. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the federal government will not relent effort in achieving a secured and prosperous nation. He gave this indication in a virtual address to the memorial lecture in honor of the late Director General of NIPS, Professor Habu Galadima. Caleb Guching reports.
Professor Osinbajo, while acknowledging the security challenges confronting the nation, said the government is doing everything possible to upturn the sad events and commended the resilience of the late Professor Habu Galadima towards this goal.
He constantly consulted with my office on ways to handle emerging challenges, and he struck me as a good team player who always carried his colleagues along.
The theme of this memorial lecture was carefully selected to bring out the academic area of interest of our dearly departed Director General.
Governor Simon Lalong and his Nasara counterpart, Abdullahi Sule, Both represented encouraged Nigerians to emulate the qualities exhibited by Professor Galadima in the discharge of his duties. Guest lecturer underscored the need for state actors to rededicate themselves towards curbing insecurity in the country.
Proliferation and prevalence of small arms and insecurity can be contained, and the framework and processes for sustainable security can be constructed.
Friends and associates of the late Professor Habu Galadima paid glowing tributes to the man they described as highly intelligent, committed and passionate about peace and development of Nigeria. Professor Habu Galadima was appointed Director General of NIBS in August 2019 until his demise in December 2020. In Jos, Caleb Gochian.
About 910 million naira has so far been disbursed to more than 24,000 poor and vulnerable households in Yobe State since the introduction of the federal government's conditional cash transfer program. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, disclosed this at the flag-off of the disbursement of special grant to 3,200 rural women in Yobe State. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa reports.
Fanna Mohammed and Aisha Ali, all in their 60s, hail from Gujuva local government area of Yobe State. They are formerly internally displaced persons who returned home but still facing difficulties in meeting their family needs. Relief, however, came their way as they are among the 3,400 lucky beneficiaries to enjoy the special cash grant of 20,000 naira each from the federal government in order to uplift their socio-economic status. At the launch of the intervention in Damaturu, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Sadia Umar Farouk, says since the coming of President Muhammadu Buhari in 2015, government has continued to pay attention to policies aimed at promoting living conditions of the poor and vulnerable in the country.
The NTA program is made up of the conditional cash transfer program, the NPA program, the government enterprise and empowerment program, the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, YESO, and CSDP is one of the largest social protection programs in Africa.
Governor Mema Labuni, represented, noted with satisfaction how the federal government, through the Humanitarian Ministry, provided COVID-19 palliatives and assistance to victims of flood disaster in the state. From Damaturu, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA News.
Director General World Trade Organization Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is in Nigeria to meet with government and business community on issues aimed at benefiting Nigeria in the African Continental Free Trade Agreement market. Benny Adams reports.
On resumption of duty as World Trade Organization Director General, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala hit the ground running with trade negotiations bordering on cutting fisheries subsidies and reforms at the WTO.
We have a lot of work to do, so I feel ready to go.
Today, she arrives Nigeria with same commitment to fostering trade in an era of global economic recovery.
And to do that, of course, we have to improve investments. We have to add value to some of our products. We have this Continental Free Trade Agreement is a unique opportunity for us to be able to engage commercially with the other nations in Africa, and that will boost our exports. And then when you boost exports, you create more jobs. We're also going to talk about the digital economy.
We have received a lot of support from many countries, so we appreciate them. And her visit is specifically to start from home. Charity begins at home. She says thank you to Mr. President, thank you to Nigerians that
To actualize her plans, the WTO Director General will be meeting with government, the business community and other stakeholders for strategic planning. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
Starting from the first quarter of next year, Nigeria's dependence on importation for LPG cylinders will give way for local content as an indigenous manufacturing plant, Ronga's Alpha FZ, gets set to deliver 1.2 million units of composite gas cylinders to the country. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Timi Silva, who performed the groundbreaking ceremony of the plant in Ekpe, Lagos, said government is serious about promoting LPG penetration in the country and will continue to provide needed intervention that will drive investment in the oil and gas sector. Adeni Taiwo completes the report.
While there is a steady drift towards using LPG in Nigeria, available data reflects huge dependence on importation to make up for the required quantity of gas cylinders needed for domestic use.
I'm working to end my stay for today.
That narrative is set to change as the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timi Silva, performs the groundbreaking ceremony for an indigenous composite gas cylinder manufacturing plant, Rongas Alpha FZE. Sited in Alaro City Free Zone Enterprise, Rongas Alpha has a projected capacity to deliver 800,000 units of safer, lighter, and durable Type 3 composite gas cylinder made of polymeric materials. This is in addition to the 400,000 units to be harnessed from the company's Polaku plant in Bayelsa State.
It's a watershed moment for enhancing deeper penetration of liquefied petroleum gas in Nigeria, in line with the federal government's commitment to ensure economic diversification using the oil and gas industry.
These are all intendment to ensure that the price of gas is reduced by also encouraging and participating in the development of LPG using our abundant gas resources.
And this demonstrates the Rongas Group's commitment to excellence on the African continent and to the use of sustainable energy.
By providing a better and safer alternative to steel cylinders currently in the market, Rongas hopes to be the largest composite gas cylinder manufacturer in the world.
So what we have done as Rongas to position ourselves to ensure that there's enough cylinders within the circulation, and this of course prevents the further importation of substandard cylinders into the country.
Rollout of the cylinders is set for the first quarter of 2022. In Lagos, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps is introducing Don't Drink and Drive e-learning as a new course in driving and training schools curriculum. The Corps Marshal FRSC Boboyo Yemi made this known at the signing of Memorandum of Understanding with a private company as part of efforts to reducing road crashes in the country. Oyemi Ajayi reports.
That signing seals the deal. An elbow shake to prove commitment as both leaders stand shoulder to shoulder against drinking and driving on the Nigerian roads. With this, the Federal Road Safety Corps is commencing a drink and drive e-learning module for proper enlightenment on effects of drinking while driving to reduce highway crashes. FRSC reveals that 90% of road crashes in the country was as a result of alcoholic drinks, hard drugs, amongst other factors, and so the need to cap this menace becomes imminent.
One other thing I think we need to step up our efforts is the issue of the sales of alcohol-related at the various motor parks. Even though we are aware that most states have outlawed the sales of alcohol at motor parks, but we still know that this has still been sold at some motor parks. We will intensify efforts in our campaigns.
The Corps Marshal emphasized that vehicles operating outside its initial designs will not be allowed to move on the roads, while urging owners of articulated vehicles to constantly conduct acuity tests on their drivers, reiterating that the year 2021 is for enforcement of road traffic laws. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
The message is clear. Don't drink and drive. Safety first. Well, do stay with us here on Weekend File. Time for some messages, and when I'm back, we will delve into the subject matter of the program, which centers around women. Don't go away.
We're just having a good time, and I'm feeling so good tonight.
Where you did? I dey come now. You go see me now. You go.
Call your party and everybody, yeah. Make we start to the corner. Where you now?
You go see me now.
Everybody they dance.
Where you
you there now?
Oh, you go see me now. I'm fine, sir. Even me, I'm surprised.
Hey, where you at?
Hello, how are you?
Tell us one truth nobody knows.
I like to steam it from my mama pot.
The best data plans in town. Dial *777#.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
The second wave of the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic is upon us.
To safeguard lives of our people, government has signed the health protection regulations, which makes wearing a face mask mandatory in public places.
Wear a mask. Keep social and physical distancing. Avoid crowded places. Wash your hands regularly with soap and clean water. And use hand sanitizer.
COVID-19 is real. Do not be infected. Do not spread it. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
You're watching Weekend File. All week long, the issue of gender equality dominated conversations in many circles. The reason is not far-fetched. March 8th was observed as International Women's Day, with a focus on the tremendous efforts by women around the world in shaping an all-inclusive future. Thekla Wilkie in this report gives us perspectives to why the world must keep enabling women and the girl child to achieving their dreams.
This is a man's world. Many years ago, men ruled the world on the basis of physical strength, which was a major attribute for survival. This naturally excluded most women from active public engagements for obvious reasons, except for a few women who dared to venture into the boxing ring. These women brandished swords and guns and fought battles and became warriors of their times. Back home in Nigeria, we also had historical warriors and women of substance who, against all odds, fought for freedom and inclusion. One of the major warriors of the 16th century is Queen Amina of Zauzau, now Zaria, Kaduna State. With her exceptional physical strength and matching imposing stature, Queen Amina won many military wars which entrenched her in the book of history. Another prominent historical figure was Margaret Ekpo. Margaret Ekpo was a social mobilizer who joined colonial politics in 1945. She was a pioneering female politician in the country's first republic and a leading member of a class of traditional Nigerian women activists. Margaret Ekpo won a seat to the Eastern Regional House of Assembly in 1961 and used her office for women's rights. Fumilayo Ramson Kuti in the 1940s established the Abeokuta Women's Union and fought for women's rights, demanding better representation of women in local governing bodies and also pushed for an end to unfair taxes on market women. The resilience and determination of these strong women of history no doubt helped move the goalpost in favor of women. But it was obviously not enough. The International Women's Day, observed 8th of March every year, provides a platform to focus on the challenges of women globally, while celebrating acts of courage by ordinary women who have played an extraordinary role in the history of their countries and communities.
Dr. Ngozi, how are you?
The Director General of the World Trade Organization, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the United Nations Deputy Secretary General Amina Mohammed, and Nigerian writer Chimamanda Adichie are all Nigerian women with common denominator. They dared to be different and are spreading their wings of success on the world stage against all odds. There are other women who are following their passion and casting the spell of success in their chosen profession. From all indications, a lot still needs to be done in balancing the scale of gender equality and shaping cultural and social attitude to the female gender.
But it would be nothing.
In Abuja, Fekla Wilkie, NTA News.
Statistics from all quarters indicate that women are the worst hit by the enormous challenges posed by COVID-19, aside being abused, economically disadvantaged, and marginalized in taking major decisions that affect their well-being. Momso Demian Dati takes an appraisal of the plight of women and measures to address them.
Poverty may have neither color nor voice, tribe or religion, but it is most definitely reflected in the face of a woman. Take these women for example.
This one and the small girl, then pursue them for school. The big ones, I never pay their school fees. House rent, then come and lock our door. I don't know what to do. Nobody to help me.
They find money to train my children. I don't see money train them.
True life tales from different women at diverse quarters. But such are the experiences of the larger percentage of women in Nigeria and even globally, giving rise to the demand for equal opportunities in every sphere of life, hence informing the choice of the 2021 International Women's Day theme.
The need to address the issue of quota and affirmative action in the appointment of women in public offices. Direct that 1/3 of all elective positions be reserved only to be contested by women in the party structure as applicable in many of the African countries.
True that Nigerian government has evolved several programs and policies to address these challenges through the SIP, CBN, and some designated ministries and parastatals, among others.
Bring out implementation strategies to ensure access to basic social protection and social services necessary to break the cycle of poverty, inequality, and social exclusion of other persons in Nigeria.
Through the implementation of the Finance Act 2019 and the Finance Act 2020, we have provided tax relief for micro, small, medium enterprises, many of whom are owned by women.
The sustainability and extent to which the likes of Nkechi, Kemi, and Hawa get to access and benefit from such interventions still leave much to be desired. Hence the choice of the slogan, I choose to challenge. In Abuja, Momso Damian Dati, NTA News.
And they can be found in the front lines fighting security threats or responding to the pandemic, and even making strides in areas previously considered male-dominated professions. But with the world celebrating women's achievements and calling for their increased participation in world affairs, more women are blazing the trail in what is now the new normal. Defense correspondent Najatu Tijani reports.
Women of war, but more importantly, women playing role in what has been considered a male-dominated profession for decades. With the 2021 International Women's Day seeking to increase inclusiveness and women equal participation in leadership, the Nigerian military already seems to be 20 paces ahead. Brigadier General Thomas is the gender advisor of the Nigerian military. She says leadership opportunities have always existed for women within the military.
The Nigerian military avails female personnel the opportunity to be whatever they intend to achieve while in the service. In the Nigerian Navy, female personnel are deployed as engineers.
For Major Roselyn Agwe of the Nigerian Army Women's Corps, an elite corps within the Nigerian Army, and her counterparts in other arms of the military, there can be no room for error, regardless of gender.
Our mission is to professionally responsive in the operational engagements.
We carry out offensive patrol along the express road to build the confidence of the commuters and also to deny the enemy freedom of action on the highway.
Not only are they combat ready, but they are equipped with skills to perform their duties to the highest standards, whether on the sea or in the air.
We've actually been able to conquer by being the best we could be, especially when you have to compete favorably among your male counterparts.
I hope to achieve the greatest heights in the ranks, and hopefully one day I'll be Chief of Air Staff.
Meet Ife Olua, a graduate of mass communications who is currently one of 2 female drivers.
To any part in Nigeria, I've actually been to Kogi, Enugu, Nasarawa, Jos, Bauchi.
Since they drive, why not also fix the vehicles like these ladies who have ventured into automobile repairs?
Just as the men can do, we can also do it.
UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, in his message for the International Women's Day, says advancing women's equal participation will lead to rapid achievement of sustainable goals, security and human rights. Najat Tijani, NTA News.
Thank you, Najatu. Right, let's begin our discussion as I have with me the President of the National Council of Women's Societies, Laraba Shoda, with me here. You're welcome to Weekend File, Madam.
Thank you very much and good evening.
All right, so let's begin this way by looking at this year's International Women's Day theme, Choose to Challenge. Why the theme? How does it speak to you? And what are the issues to challenge? Of course, if there are issues to challenge, what are the practical and workable mechanisms you've deployed to achieve them?
Well, personally, I believe that the theme is very apt now.
Okay.
Because women have come of age to be at par with their fellow men. And we have passed the stage of saying we want 35% affirmative action. We are thinking of 50-50 now. Yes, because we sit in the same class, okay. We write the same exams, we are as good as men are. So we choose to challenge those areas that we have been deprived of. Women, the gender gap should close up now, because women all over the world are doing great. Look at America. We now have a vice president. I know that they have the oldest democracy, but at least that is a challenge to us here in Nigeria too. We're saying maybe, and maybe very soon, we might have a woman governor, woman vice president. It's a challenge that women are ready for now. So the theme is very apt now. Women are out, women are ready, women are strong enough to take up any kind of challenges.
Yeah, let's talk about the issues, because there are issues, aren't there? Starting with you, there are some of the, what are those issues that relegate women to the background? I mean, some of them silent notions. What are they?
Women have been indoctrinated from the beginning to feel that they are the weaker sex. They have been from home, yes. Exactly. From home, they have been taught to be, to have certain kind of chores that they should. If a woman is sweeping, they say sweep very well, bend down and sweep well like a woman.
Yes.
They don't tell a boy that kind of thing. They tell a boy, why are you behaving like a woman? Yes. Or they tell the girl that you are not a man now and you are behaving like the boys. Yes, there are girls that behave like boys. Yes. And they keep telling them that they are behaving like boys. They should stop behaving like boys. They should behave ladylike. I don't know what ladylike is. So from the beginning, the girls are taught to go to the kitchen and cook. They are told that there are types of chores that they cannot do. They are told not to climb trees. They don't have the strength to climb trees. and the boys are given the chances to explore any kind of thing they want to do. So the women have been, the girls have been relegated from home by their parents, by their siblings, by friends, even in school. I mean, sweeping is left for girls in school. Boys don't sweep.
Boys cut grass.
Boys cut grass. Who said that a girl cannot cut grass? Right now we have more farmers, women. We have farmers, women farmers. Are they not cutting grass? So, but from you start telling them that they cannot cut grass, they should go and sweep, wash the toilets. You know, those type of chores that are demeaning. That's what they give the girls to do, and they say the boys should go do different things. Even during co-curricular activities, the girls are sent to go and do hairdressing. The boys are sent to go and do maybe electrical fixing. Yes. They are sent to go and do carpentry and that kind of thing. So you have already relegated the girls to the background. You are telling them that they cannot do
more like they are
ICT, repairs.
Yes.
They are limited
Yes.
to what they can do, even from schools. And the society and culture and religion, they put the girls back. So those are the salient notions that are relegating women to the background.
Yes, okay. So what about those other issues that are militating against women, participation in leadership? I mean, let's hear from the horse's mouth. You yourself, you're a woman in leadership. So how has it been so far? Have you witnessed, that gender, stereotypes or biases in the course of your, career journey up until your current position?
Yes, let me use myself as an example. When I was contesting, because we contest this position, when I was contesting, it's women themselves that came out and said, this woman is not from Ogun State. She is just a wife. A wife is just like a slave. So why would she come and take the biggest meat in our pot? Women were the ones that were against my election. I've married for about 40 years. I live in Ogun State. I have grown-up children that have their own children. But and I do so many things. I have my businesses there. I've served in the government of Ogun State. I've served the Chamber of Commerce. I've served in the Polytechnics as a governing council chairman. But when I wanted to become a national president of NCWS, I was the vice president. They say, no, I'm just an ordinary wife. So those type of things happen.
Okay, just pause there. Hold that thought, because it's quite interesting. When we come back, we'll get to know if even women themselves are the challenge. All right, so let's just pause at this time and take a few messages. We are back shortly.
Wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your screen. Mo wire abi mi o wire. Teacher no more. A fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Teacher jọ̀wọ́. A fẹ́ lọ wá nǹkan jẹ. Ọmọ onírẹsì ti dé.
Ajebo na better school for last gidi. Not be all this on a rugged yes school for Ijabi. I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. Kadesi. We know happy at all.
Yeah, and I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders too. We are trying, Shao. Sweep her leg out. She was standing there. Sweep it.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression that I was interested in that position?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I talk with that now. Not for me. Not for me because of Pamio.
Thanks for staying with us. For women, Nigerian women, of course, to fully participate in governance and policy making, the family and society must show greater concern for the rights of the weaker strata. Wife of the Kaduna State Governor Asiya Ahmad El-Rufai says this will promote gender equality and inclusion at a function in Abuja. Elizabeth Omori reports.
Women's participation in nation-building, activists believe, is a tool to achieving an equitable, peaceful and prosperous society. Erudite speakers at this forum are interrogating factors mitigating the growth of women in public life and marriage. Education and self-development, they emphasized, remain paramount to the actualization of the inspirations of the girl child.
We're going to write a few things, present it to our various state assemblies to see how some of the laws that actually pull women down can be revisited.
I would advise you, as a single woman wanting to get married, not to rush, to slow down, pray about it, think about it, because marriage is a very, very powerful institution.
Lack of support from the family and society, as well as poor reproductive health, were identified as hindrances to the socio-economic well-being of women.
We are not competitors. We are partners. We are developmental partners for the new Nigeria.
Eroding family values, high rate of divorce, stigmatization and insecurity. They say, if addressed, will encourage women to take active steps in contributing to national development. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
All right, I still have with me the president of NCWS, of course, that's Laraba Shoda. Madam, yes, let's pick up from where we left off. Before we went on that break, you were talking about what I called, quite interesting, because there are some women who have some reservation, dealing with another woman, right? Most times they prefer to deal or work with the opposite gender, right? So are this category of women captured in the challenge, the theme, or are they themselves the challenge?
Well, sometimes these women could be a challenge. Other times they could be the people challenging. Women, for instance, women are always very thorough at whatever they do. Oh. When they are working as administrators, as anything, they want to be thorough. They want the best. Mm. So most women that, do not want to work with find that very challenging. They won't want to work with that kind of a woman. They will prefer to work with a man who will look at them and say, oh, this is a woman, let's just leave her. Let her just be doing her thing. But a woman will want you to do that job. But sometimes it is envy. Hmm. So those women are problem on their own. It's envy, because they don't know why what they see in you that is not in them. Yes. That is the problem. So they make sure that they give you all sort of problems. Those women are a different species, and yes, they are a different species because they don't see anything good in any woman that is at the top. Okay. They want every woman to be at the same level with them. Mm. Yes, they don't aspire to be like somebody. Instead, they try to pull that person down. So it's either it's win-win.
Okay.
Some are challenge themselves, and some are people that challenge other women. You know, make them do things. If you are thorough, not many women will want to work with you. But if you are the DESIST type of woman, of course, they will say you are a good woman. Because men will always say, oh, just leave her, let her just go. You know, men will look at women as not serious sometimes. They say, just leave her, that woman, just leave her with her wahala, let her stay. But a woman will call you to order and tell you that you must do the job because you are being paid for it. So it could be either side.
Okay, so apparently women are thriving in different fields, right? That's agreeable. But even as it is now, most of them are showing signs of statesmanship, or should I say stateswomanship. But how can these obstacles, this quagmire, this setback syndrome be tackled? We are moving forward now.
Well, me, I would have preferred to say state personship.
State personship.
Yes, because men and women are the same.
Okay.
When we begin to say statesmanship or statewomanship, we have started to put a divide. Don't
mind me, that was just my coinage.
So, you know, the way to assist women in
and not just women, the girl child. Now talking about the education. Yes.
Okay, that's another ball game.
Yes.
You see, the girl child is a very endangered species.
Yes.
So many things happen to girl child. Either poverty and illiteracy will lead the parents to take her to early marriage. They pull a girl out of JS classes and send her straight to early marriage. Or because of poverty, the girl goes into prostitution and you know, I mean, when a girl in this secondary school goes into prostitution, she will not be able to learn anymore. And all things that happen, rape, molestation all over the place. Girls cannot even walk from their homes to the school if they are not in the boarding school.
Now they are the targets.
They are the targets, and if they are in the boarding, you are afraid that they will be kidnapped. So most parents might not want to send their children to school. Yes. All that is a kind of setback for the girl child. So many things. Let's even use mundane things like sanitary wares. You know, some girls don't even have access to it. So during the time that they need those sanitary wares, they don't go to school. And if you don't go to school, you lose a lot. So those type of things are setback for the girl child. So the girl children are really endangered species, if you ask me.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm afraid we're running out of time, but it was really, you know, enlightening speaking with you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very
President
much.
of the National Council of Women's Society, Baraba Shoda. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, just for the records, I'm a he for she. Yes, yes, all right. So let's bring you sports now. Samuel Johnson is our guide.
Prominent personalities in Nigeria's sports family have described as heartwarming and forward-looking the election of NFF's president, Amaju Pinnick, into FIFA's council. Minister of Sports, Sunday Dari, led other stakeholders to congratulate him and charge him to be good ambassador of Nigeria.
This is good news to Nigeria, not just Nigeria, but to Africa as a whole. We look forward to good things to come.
Being in the FIFA Council is a huge plus for him. They are the decision makers.
In a related development, newly elected chairman of Ondo State Football Association, Dele Ajayi, has promised to transfer